What if Deku was Enel, the final part, the Battle Royale? I've been looking forward to this finale, and I hope y'all like it too. Remember to hit that subscribe button, and hit that like button if you like it. And again, thank Ramper for the person that recommended this story idea. Gotta give him some credit. Thank you, Ramper. And without further ado, let's get into the story. So, when we start this one, it's actually been several months, and Enel has been gathering power for his game, as it also happens to be the time of the sports festival. Coincidence? As of course, Enel and the Ark is currently flying around Japan. They're being filmed and all that. Of course, all the heroes are pretty much at the sports festival. Who's gonna do anything about it? So, they're currently flying over Japan as Slowdown approaches Enel. So, what's my part in this? Simple. Each of you five, as your first to all of his priests, will be in this game. And I will put up the barrier in a moment. But I'll go ahead and tell you the rules before I announce them, since y'all will be the first ones to be notified. It's a battle royale where the last 10 people will come aboard the Ark for the final fight. The last 10? Why not the last 5, sir? I do say that, but I want to see if y'all can make it to the finals of this game. Don't worry, even if I eradicate the entirety of Japan, I will not eradicate the priests. As, well, Elizabeth speaks up, and how do we know that you won't break that? Fine. As he just shocks all 5 of his priests, as a mark appears on some of their arms, as one of them, the Slowdown looks at his sleeve and just sees a lightning mark on his sleeve. For Ramper, on his shoulder. For Elizabeth, well, on her hand. And for Fisher, well, in his hair. And lastly, Darkness, or Nightmare. I'm gonna be calling that character Darkness or Nightmare, just for to let y'all know. I'm just gonna say, on his shirt. Why not? If I ever were to destroy Japan, these marks will save y'all's life, and will bring you back to the Ark. Is that better? As all of them nod. Good. Now, go ahead and set up your locations. Rapper, you'll be the last one to set up, as I need your help, well, with the dome. Of course, sir. Now spread out. Find your locations. As Slowdown is leaving. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Hey, Elizabeth, right? As the cargo girl looks at him. Yeah? I need you to take me to this place. As he shows a photo on his phone. That's quite far. It's in the vicinity of the dome, isn't it? Yes, it is, but that is quite a far distance. Don't worry. Just take me there. As she's like, alright. As she creates a giant crow as Slowdown hops on it. As he moves at blinding speeds towards the location. As Fisher just simply taps her. Let me guess, you want to go near the docks? As he nods. Very well. As she also sends him off. As she gets tapped on the back by, well, Nightmare. As she replies, yes? We're going to the same area, correct? As, oh, you mean there? Yeah, it's pretty close to each other. Well, we're heading there. I still have to get Ramper and take him. As Ramper comes over. Don't worry about me. I've already talked where I'll be going, and Enel will drop me off. Alright. As Nightmare and Elizabeth leave, as all but one of his priests have now are going to their respective positions for this game. As in this time, it's about the final 1v1s for the sports festival, as the arc approaches. As it finally gets above, as soon as the, finale where they're announcing the people. Who won? Bakugo, Tokiyami, and Shoto. As then a huge barrier then forms all over Japan. Lightning then covered with metal. As a big speaker appears, like a big version screen made of lightning appears with Enel's face on it. Well, Japan. It's good to be back for another game. As the heroes and all that take their stances. As Endeavor tries to fire a fire blast, but is counteracted by lightning that surrounds the arc. Listen to me. You're not going to be able to touch me, but I will allow this. Y'all should know very well that I like to play, have fun watching people struggle in my games. So, I will allow the last 10 people between the heroes and villains fight me. And any of my priests that make it into the final 10. The civilians shall be spared, but note, if you fail to defeat me, the entirety of Japan will be wiped off the face of the map. Just to let y'all know. As Nezu speaks up. So you plan to fight all the heroes and all that? We can just take down your arc and defeat you there. Oh, really now? Maybe I should show you how much you should regret that decision. As Nezu's confused, as the top of his school is then vaporized. As everyone's shocked. Be lucky it was only the top floors, and that it was vacant. That would have killed anyone inside, by the way. So, again, for the last 10 heroes that are remaining, and villains, if y'all can make it, just letting you know, y'all will be able to board the ship and fight me. But I'll also say this. There is also another condition for you to win this without even fighting me. As the heroes are intrigued, you defeat all 5 of my priests. As Nezu speaks up, who's your priests? They are 5 great fighters. Each of them has been set up their own places around Japan. You'll defeat them, and then I will consider this a win on your part, and I will let all the civilians in the area of Japan live. And I'll even leave Japan permanently. How about that? How can we trust you? All Might speaks up. Well, how about this? As Enel simply stands on the edge of the arc. As he simply just writes a big lightning symbol. I set up a lightning symbol. This symbol, if not followed the rules, will even shock me and injure me. How about that? That's if you win, of course. But if you don't defeat all of my priests within the last 10, then I will continue without any problems and be able to destroy Japan as I please. As Enel speaks up, how much time do we have? Actually, this is not a timed game. Surprising, as I usually do things on a timer. But I don't want this to be timed for once. So you have as long as you like. It just cannot last more than a month. And also, the League of Villains and their master All For One, you can come out of hiding, as All For One is shocked that he knows he's alive. As everyone's shocked. Oh, I guess y'all didn't know that All For One was still alive, did you? Well, you see, I did some research and did some things, as well as I got access to your files. And I found out he was alive. You're also a participant in this game, so try not to hide. Or I will literally vaporize the place you're at this moment. As it looks like he's glaring into the TV, or the monitor, as it then just closes. But they can still hear Enel as his final words are, "Let the games begin!" As we go to, well, the heroes and all that. And now they have to go find Enel's priests. So what's the best option here? As the heroes are talking amongst themselves, well, apparently there's two ways for us to win. One is that we defeat every other hero, villain, and opponent we come across, or defeat his priests. I don't want to take the risk of us having to hurt our own heroes, so I suggest we find these priests. As Enel speaks up, I agree. As long as we, defeat these priests, Enel will leave this place. But we still need to stop him. So I say we let one of them survive so we can go on there and defeat him. As All Might speaks up, normally I would agree, but he has too much of a hold around the land. One simple mess up, he could simply vaporize. As you've seen from videos he's made, that he can easily obliterate an island. Yes, but I doubt he has the attack to obliterate all of Japan. We don't know that. We've not seen the extent of Enel's power. In fact, he's barely even fought. This rouses Endeavor even more. So he's weak at hand-to-hand combat. We simply just take him there. I don't know if that'll work during my previous experience fighting him. As Nezu calms him down. Now listen, heroes. This is not the time for us to be fighting. Let's find these participants, these priests, and defeat them. As they agree, as the heroes now go off on a search for Enel's priests. As we go to the LOV and All for One, as the members of the LOV had all been formed around this time. As he comes over to the LOV's base. So listen up, as he looks at all of the, LOV members. I want you to defeat Enel's priests, but leave one alive. Or undefeated, so we can go in and attack Enel. He is a very powerful lightning quirk I'd like to add to my arsenal. As all of them are listening. So we defeat the other members of Enel's personal bodyguard. And we let one still in the fight. And help him, so we make it to the final 10, right? As he says yes. As Muscular simply just hits his hand. Yeah. It doesn't matter if I kill a few of them, does it? No, you can go ahead and do whatever you want. I only need one still in the battlefield. As he smirks. Fine, I'm going to find one of these guys. As now the search for Enel's priests go on. Now, of course, the most easiest one where they have found is the Fisher. Now, the only priests they know of is, Ramper, Fisher. They don't know Darkness, and they don't know Slowdown. They know Elizabeth, which the Crow Quirk. It's really hard to pronounce her villain name and all that, which is the Crow Controller, I believe. But so the heroes have found one of the priest locations, being the dock. So they're gonna go for it. Now I'm gonna say, because all the heroes were pretty much in the sports festival, some LV members got there first. As we see the ones there, and it happens to be Dobby, Mr. Compress, and Twice. As he simply looks over at them. So you're one of Enel's priests. As he simply says nothing, as he's just standing on the water. Silent treatment, eh? As he simply sends fire at him, as water comes up from below and protects him. Water Quark. This is a bad matchup for me. As, Mr. Compress tries to go over there and captures him. But fails to do so, as water and, seaweed would always come around defending like a shield. as, well, Twice would try to make more of himself, but would inevitably fail. Of course, within this time of battling, I would say it takes about 5 minutes before Twice has been impaled by Fisher's spear, and Mr. Compress lost an arm, and Dobby is struggling. As Dobby looks over at, well, Mr. Compress, are you alright? Yeah, but trying to get close to him is not very easy. And that weapon, as they both look over and see, well, Twice's corpse, just still on this, well, trident, as he simply just tosses it aside into the air. As, of course, they think he's still alive, which he technically is. He's just bleeding out. But he goes flying up into the air, as Mr. Compress tries to go up there to, well, put him in a marble, but save him. But he happens to hit the cage, and they watch as Twice is vaporized and turned to cinders, or ashes, whatever you prefer. As both of them are shocked. But this is when some heroes arrive on the scene, and I'm gonna say it's the dragon hero, and what's another top 10 hero I could use? The ninja type hero that can shrink, I think? That one. As they arrive, wow, it seems like the LV is also trying to join in on this. We don't have much of a choice. After all, he's threatening to vaporize all of us. Dobby says, you got a fair point. I can get rid of the seaweed, but the water is the problem. As Fisher is still just standing, not even broken a sweat yet. As Mr. Compress tries to sneak up, and is about to put, well, Fisher into, like, a marble ball. As he sends over one marble, catching his trident, as the Fisher had moved the trident so quickly to protect himself, as it caught the trident and not the Fisher. And this is when the seaweed hardened and, well, went straight through Mr. Compress's body, as then he's just slinged off into a building. As the Dragon Hero tries to attack, goes straight through the water and starts hitting the seaweed. As then, that other hero, which I don't know his rank, so I can't really tell you the best, because I don't know his name, so I'm just going to call him the Shrinking Hero, because I think that's his quirk. I don't know all the top 10 heroes' main abilities, but I believe he's something to do with shrink, and he's like a ninja. So, that's the best you're going to get from me, as I don't know much of him. As he just appears back up, as he unshrinks and punches him straight in the face, sending him flying towards the land. As Dobby then takes his opportunity to send fire. But a large thing of water comes over and surrounds him, protecting him from Dobby's flames. As he scoffs, ah, as the Dragon Hero says, hey, we're not going to kill him. I don't care. After all, I simply just need to have him defeated. Doesn't matter if he's dead or not. As the Fisher is now on land. As we go in his mind, this will be more difficult now that I'm on their advantage. I need to get back to the water, but I doubt they'll let that happen. As multiple things are contemplating in his mind, trying to figure out which is the best way to defeat them. As, well, he has taken on 2 of the top 10 and a member of the LOV, one of the more stronger members. As Dobby tries to send more flames, he's still siphoning water near the nearby water source to still protect him. But he has no seaweed to protect him, as most of it was coming out from the, well, sea. As, well, Rirko, the Dragon Hero, goes in for a punch, as he uses the seaweed around his body to quickly stop the punch and grab onto it. As the other hero that shrinks tries to go for another punch, this time is kicked by Fisher. That trick won't work on me twice. He just simply forms in seaweed. Although this fight is now more difficult for him, as he is now on the land, and he's being pushed back further away from the water. As Dobby goes in for another attack, as he's too far from the water to siphon any water to protect himself, so he uses all of his seaweed to block the flames. as both the two heroes go over to try to hit him. As he's about to form the last of his seaweed around his body to defend him, well, they break through it and hit him, sending him towards a building as he crashes through it. As, of course, there's a number in the sky for the amount of priests. So, as they look at the sky, hoping that he was defeated, as the number doesn't go down. As we go to Enel, who's watching this. Wow, they managed to lure him away from his home turf. That may have been a bit of a risky move for you, Fisher. But show me what you really got. You can't be defeated that easily now, can you? As he smiles, as they don't realize what they threw him into, as he was thrown into a building full of seaweed, seafood, all of that. So he opens his eyes again and siphons all the seaweed out from the storage house and makes a big seaweed monster surrounding himself. As we actually hear Fisher's voice for the first time. I shall not be defeated this easily. As a bunch of seaweed goes straight for the two heroes and one villain. Dobby, of course, deals with the seaweed with no problem, as the dragon hero is now caught up in the seaweed as the ninja shrinking hero is trying to evade. Well, you still can't, as Dobby, says, you still can't block this, as he sends a huge amount of fire towards the seaweed monster. As it makes a huge barrier of seaweed, of course burning the seaweed, but the water moisture from the seaweed is helping the fire lower, as its arm was completely vaporized by the flames. As it simply regrows it, using it more of the seaweed out from the building. As it's about to go down for another swing with both hands on Dobby, as it makes a downward motion with both fists, as then a huge flame just pierces straight through the seaweed monster, hitting, Fisher as he's sent flying out and into the water, as the number goes down to 4. As Dobby looks over and sees Endeavor made a shot, as he apparently managed to get there. As he scoffs, before running off. Of course, the dragon hero and the shrinking hero thanks Endeavor for his help. Now we go to Fisher, who is currently sinking at the bottom of the well. We'll see at the moment. As we see, he's covered with lightning, in like a lightning shell. As he's unconscious and has like a severe blast through his, stomach. As we see lightning covering up and cauterizing the wound. As then we hear a little bit of a speaker into this little bubble. You did well, fighting not just 2 top 10 heroes, but members of the most notorious villain group in Japan. As he just simply speaks. Yes, but I lost. Don't worry, you did well. After all, you did manage to attach the seaweed to the ninja hero, right? As Fisher smiles. Go ahead, make your last attack. As we go back to the, 2 heroes talking with Endeavor. As we see seaweed was wrapped around his, waist. As then it suddenly just explodes, sending him back as he's unconscious in a building. As Rirko and Endeavor doesn't know what happened. As then Enel speaks over the monitor. It seems like one of the top 10 heroes have been defeated. Spreading this all throughout the Japan, making the citizens more worried and in a panic. Causing it even harder for the heroes trying to find the remaining priests. And the LOV, because they have to search for them too. So this, little nuisance has now caused more problems, knowing that not just one of their top 10 heroes was defeated a while ago, but another one has been defeated. Of course, he's still alive. He only blew up partially. But he still managed to survive. He just has burn marks. And for y'all that don't know, how did the seaweed blew up? We go to a little bit back in the building where it had some sulfur, some flammable stuff that could cause an explosion if the right materials were mixed, which that's what he did. Now we go to the two heroes that are talking. Great. At least it was one of the more useless heroes. Endeavor says, as Ryuko the Dragon Hero says, "You can't just say that about one of your comrades." What, he was weak. He simply walks off. Now we go to another area where it's in a big racetrack. A huge racetrack going all out through, well, a big distance. As we see a bunch of heroes on the ground defeated. Y'all really should have prepared more. This was nothing to me. Y'all are too slow. Want to try again? As one of the heroes being, Ingenium in this timeline, who's currently barely on his legs. What, you think you're faster than me? Listen, Ingenium, I do respect your speed, but you can't beat me. I'm the fastest person in Japan. Probably the fastest in the world. As he still gets up, I still need to defeat you. Whatever you say. As then he suddenly gets, stabbed through the chest by Moonfish. As this surprises Slowdown, as he looks over and sees Moonfish and Mustard, the person with the gas quirk in the LV in the training camp arc. Listen, we need to defeat you, so. As Moonfish sends a lot of, spikes at him. Oh man, people don't learn. As he simply moves so fast and appears next to Moonfish and gives him a really good right hook into the face, breaking his, metal teeth as he's sent flying. As, of course, the other guy pulls out his gun and tries to shoot and uses gas to help, but he's too fast and y'all can see where this is going. When the heroes arrive, they see Moonfish in a wall, several heroes unconscious, and Ingenium bleeding out, and the other villain with the gas cork currently in, would it be called the stands? I'll just say he's tied to the stands. It looks like some heroes made it, so which heroes did I get? As he looks over and sees he's got, Hawks, and the number 3 hero at the time, which is going to be Best Genus. Oh, it looks like I got 2 number 10 heroes. Let's go. We got the number 3 and we got the number 4. I always wanted to question who is faster, me or you, Hawks. I guess I finally get to test it. As he smiles. Listen, surrender yourself and just make it easy. I'm sorry, but I've got Pacific orders. Get it? Pacific? Orders from Enel to not be defeated. If I get defeated, after just joining the priests of Enel, I'm gonna be the laughingstock of the priests, and I can't have that. Although it does seem like one of my colleagues has been defeated. As they look up, as they saw the number change from 5 to 4. Great, that means one of your comrades has already been taken out. As then they hear the news of one of the top 10 being defeated. Really now, it seems like a few others of your top 10 have already been defeated. As then another one broadcasts, repeat, another top 10 hero has been defeated, bringing it down to 7 top 10 heroes left. What? Now, I don't know all the top 10 heroes, so please forgive me if I get some wrong or if I don't know. So we go back to them. So let's do this, as, of course, Hawks goes in with a flying slash, trying to, cut Slowdown, as he just moves so fast, as he's already sitting in the stands. Really? That was so slow, I went to get myself popcorn. As he has a popcorn bucket in his hand, as he eats some popcorn. As Best Genius tries to tie him down, as he simply moves fast to where his strings can't get him. Now, we did research on all you top 10 heroes on Enel's orders while we waited for this little game of ours. And I know you two were probably going to be the most suited to defeat me. The only other person that has a chance is All Might. But you two were also there. Your Cork Best Genus is a really hard one to defeat. Especially getting close to you is very difficult. But I can manage. The only reason I thought you could defeat me, Hawks, is your speed, as you're the fastest, I believe, among the top 10 heroes. It seems you've done your research. Yes, I know, but you should be more concerned about some things. As then, well, tires come out of nowhere, hitting Best Genus and basically sending him into a garage. As it's kind of a racetrack area they're in. Ooh, it looks like he got hit hard. As, again, Hawks tries to go in for a slash attack. As he simply just jumps and does a backflip and lands on the motorcycle that hits Hawks straight in the face. As he then rides it around. If you think I'm fast without a vehicle, wait until I'm on one. As Hawks gets up, as he's a little bit of tire marks on his face. As Best Genus also gets up, before getting mowed down by a bunch of motorcycles, knocking him out and out of the running. As the announcement occurs, the top 3 hero Best Genus has been defeated by a priest, and also known as Slowdown. And to make it more interesting for the civilians, he plays the replay of what he was watching, showing how he was defeated, and is now showing the fight between Slowdown and Hawks. As Hawks is, trying to follow, Slowdown as he's moving really fast on a motorcycle, going around the track. It seems you're doing well to keep up with me. But remember, let's see how much of that speed you can keep. As he then moves the vehicle into a faster pace, as he goes zooming, as he still tries to keep up and sends his feathers to jam the motorcycle, but he's going too fast. Hawk can't really do anything. Until he knows something strange. As he looks up at the sky and sees that a few birds are going at regular pace, as then they speed up when entering a certain zone. Of course, he doesn't know what to think of this at first, so he keeps chasing after Slowdown. As he keeps going, should I slow down a bit? This is not getting any fun. As then, he noticed something on the road. Oh boy. As he tries to turn the motorcycle, as it just slides along ice and hitting a wall. As he gets up, well, there goes my brand new motorcycle. As he sees, some of the students of 1A. Class 1A, of course. One being Shoto Todoroki. Among them, we'll say Ida's there too. Oh, it looks like we got some kids from 1A. I didn't know they could participate. Enel, is that against the rules for them to participate? No, it is legal for the students, since they are technically Hero Corps students, to participate. Of course, people are mad because he's broadcasting this all throughout Japan. So their parents hear it, the civilian population hears it, and the heroes are going to get a big scolding if they win this. Because letting students fight villains. As Shoto says, we're going to defeat you. As he's staying on the ice, this is going to be a bit more difficult now that I have an ice user. As he simply just starts to run up the wall into a non-iced area and starts running. But let's see you get me twice. And he starts to move at, fast speeds. As then Hawks appears out in front of him. Oh, I didn't see you. As he simply just ducks as the feather sword goes right above him. Almost cutting his nose. As he's, slid. You're gonna have to be a lot faster than that, Hawks, if you're gonna want to hurt me. As he smiles. As more ice comes over, blocking his way. As he looks back and sees, Shoto Todoroki blocking his way. As he thinks in his head, ice user. One of my most weaknesses, pretty much. On a smooth surface, I'm gonna be less able to move. He's gonna try to shorten my distance and range of movement, allowing Hawks, a air user, to try to get me even faster. This kid's gonna slow me down. I need to think of something quick. And then he simply jumps onto the ice wall and jumps above and grabs to the ceiling of the stadium. Gets on and starts running on the roof. Try to get me now as he starts running again. As, of course, Hawk's is still following. Where do you think you're going? That's gonna be a problem. As he starts moving, as, of course, he's out of range of, Shoto, as he cannot catch up with them, but Ida is keeping up on the ground. Oh, wait. As he knows that Ida's on the ground, wearing a similar outfit to Ingenium. I thought I defeated Ingenium. No. As he remembers, one of the Class 1A he heard from Enel's report. One of them that was Ingenium's brother. Oh, as he smiles. Well then, as he simply just jumps out, moves so fast, and hits Ida in the face, sending him into, I'll say like a garage area. As, Hawks tries to take this opportunity to slice his shoulder. But he simply just spins out of the way and kicks Hawks in the face. You're gonna have to be a lot faster. I thought I told you. As then, he's surprised as he's struck in the shoulder by ice. As he sees Shoto Todoroki in the air. You gotta be kidding me. As Shoto says, listen, as long as you're out of his range, long distance attacks will hit him. He's moving as slow as a human normally would. He figured it out. As he tries to get back up, and tries to, take the ice off him as he knows he stuck him to the ground. As he breaks the ice, he gets slashed in the, close to the chest area, as he's on the ground. I can't be defeated like this. As he gets up, as Hawk's standing in front of him with a blade to his throat. Listen, you've been defeated. Stand down. As this is where he smiles. You know, I'm still the fastest here. It's all I've wanted to be. But if I'm going down, he then rips off his shirt, revealing a bomb. And the bomb has a lot of blue electricity in the middle. I guess I can use this little bomb Enel gave me. As he simply just hits it, as it just starts to crack, as Hawks tries to get out of the way, as a huge burst of lightning strikes. As taking out a lot, and hitting a lot of nearby heroes, villains, some students as well. As Hawks barely managed to defend himself, but he's still on his feet, so he's considered not defeated yet. As he tries to look for slowdown. Did he vaporize himself in that attack? As we see the crater that was left behind by the electricity. As we see he's covered by rubble, but is being protected by a lightning dome. As we see a large, burn mark on his chest. I can't believe I was defeated. As Enel speaks to, slow down. You did well. But, I gotta say I'm impressed you managed to take down the number 3 hero. I used the surprise attack to get him. Hawks is injured, so I doubt he'll last another priest. That is good. That leaves only 3 priests remaining. Hey, since I'm awake, please tell me, where's Ramper? Why are you curious? I just wanted to know, since I never knew where he went. If you must know, he's in a steel factory. Very well. Anyway, I'm going to take a nap. You've earned it, after all. I can't say that it would be easy for you to take on multiple top heroes like that. If it wasn't for that smart kid, I would have won that fight. Guarantee it. And I have no doubt you would. You were winning it pretty much the entire time. So I do appreciate you at least finding out the numbers of the heroes. After all, you must have defeated at least 100 of them. As he smiles, of course. I can't let myself be, well, put down by being a new priest and doesn't know what he's doing, so I thin the numbers a bit. Very good, and I must say, I am very impressed. And your spot as the priest will remain, after all. I have promised, and I keep my word. As Enel stops speaking, as Slowdown just smiles as he falls asleep. As everyone looks at the board as an announcement appears up, or is spoken by Enel, it seems like one of more of the priests have been defeated. Slowdown of the priests has been defeated, as the name of, well, the priest and the number went down. As we go to, well, an area, a forest, dark area and all that, and we see Muscular down on the ground, basically defeated on the ground, bleeding, as he just moves his neck. Ugh, that was easy. You stood no chance from me. As he kicks his face, but as he kicks his face, it sends Muscular flying out of the forest into a building. As we see someone behind him. Was that necessary? He was already unconscious. I don't care if he dies. Pretty much everyone's gonna die if we win. And that's our goal, isn't it? As he smiles. After all, I would love to see Japan burn. As his eyes just make a bright red color appear from his dark eyes. I suppose you're right, but still, you didn't have to kick him that hard. You could have broken his neck and killed him. What does it matter? He's a villain anyway. After all, the less of them means the more stronger opponents there will be at the end. Don't you agree? I suppose you're right, but I'm not the strongest of the priests. I still don't know why y'all insisted I be a part of them. First off, I don't know how you joined the priests, but you were there way before I was. I was the second member of the priests. And you're weak. Listen, I only got dragged onto this by Ramper and Enel. I didn't plan to be a part of this. Listen, you got dragged on, yes, but it was your choice to stay, wasn't it? As she nods her head. Then at least, man up. After all, if you were still on the Ark, it means Enel at least holds some regard of respect for your power. After all, hadn't you noticed? He's treating us with respect and a bit of kindness the entire time we've been a part of the priests. As she gets a lot of memories of the journey they've spent pretty much a year together on the Ark. As she nods, you're right. So at least treat the man Enel with respect. After all, he's treating us with respect and gave us technically a place where we belong. As she just nods, you're right. I apologize. As then they both hear Enel's voice. Listen up, you got a few heroes coming your way. Ooh, which ones do I get to face? You got the number 5 hero, Mirako. You also have a member of the LOV, Toga, in your area. Also, I believe there was someone named the lizard guy from the LV, can never remember his name. Still there with you. Defeat them. A few other heroes may arrive. So just letting you know. As the voice ends. As then we go to see the number left on the heroes of the top 10. Because Enel made one for the top 10 heroes. And Hawks had to, well, step down as he cannot fight really anymore because of his severe injury from the blast Slowdown gave him. So, leaving with the 2 and the 3 heroes already defeated the top 10, we actually go down to 5. And these 5 are going to be Ririko, Mirako, All Might, Endeavor, and one other. As they're the only ones left. As we go to where Mirako had just arrived with some other heroes. And we go to the number of the total amount of contestants within this battle royale between the heroes and villains. From where the number was originally at like 1,000, has been cut in half because of fighting with the priests and the fighting amongst themselves. But everyone's surprised when another 100 just drops from the board immediately. As we go to Elizabeth, who's just staying on an old radio station, having her crows take out a lot of people, while Nightmare is taking out a whole bunch. As Mirko approaches and sees Nightmare, "It seems like we got someone here. Are you one of Enel's priests?" As she smiles. "That is right. I am Nightmare from Enel's priests. What do you want?" "Well, Nightmare, I'm Mirko, the number 5 hero. I've heard of you, you're pretty strong. But can you defeat me?" As then this goes into a bit of a brawl as he's moving fast while Mirko is hitting, as he still tries to use his fabric control, defeating a lot of heroes, but can't really do it on Mirko, as the material that was used, that's what I'm going to say, as he can't really do anything. "You're a tough opponent. I can't really use my main ability on you." As Mirko goes in for another fist, as he dodges as she hits the ground, breaking the ground. "I'm not a good matchup against her." As then he tries to contact Elizabeth, "I need your assistance." As Mirko's like, "Elizabeth?" As that crow comes out of nowhere, hitting Mirko in the shoulder, sending her flying into a tree. "You probably don't know this, but Elizabeth is also another member of the priests. I asked her to come along with me. After all, she doesn't have much battle experience." As we go to her, as we see a lifeless body right next to her. As she still doesn't like to see corpses, as she turns away as the crows dragged it off and dropped it off the antenna of the tower. As she just continues to look out. And for the people that don't know, this was Toga, who's trying to take the form of one of the defeated priests and stab her. But Enel informs all the priests of who's defeated. So they already knew that there was no deceiving the priests. So Toga got killed by the crows. As we go back to Nightmare, who's still struggling with Mirko, as she's throwing punches left and right, as he's having trouble dodging and all that. As he uses his illusion spell, as showing, her a nightmare, as she does not take this at all, as she goes straight to punch Nightmare in his face, sending him flying into a tree. As he stumbles to the ground. "How did my illusion not work on you?" As it worked on pretty much all the heroes and villains that he had fought so far. "You think people like that? I honestly thought it was just you transforming. What are you not scared of?" As then he gets ragdolled by Gigantomachia. As he gets sent flying in the air, as he hits several trees going through it, as he's lost consciousness at this point. As he gets caught by a crow before shortly being put into an electric bubble and falling to the ground. As then the number of priests go down to 2. As we go to the number of people still in this little competition, the number from 400 has now gone to 50. As it had been a few hours. As everyone's shocked about all their positioning and all that. As we go to Elizabeth, who calls, Ramper, I need permission to come towards you. Nightmare has been defeated. I need to, I understand. Come to my position. As she gets on a crow and starts flying. And we go to Gigantomachia, who's making a mess and all that. And fought a lot of heroes. At this point in the game, there are about 4 heroes left from the top 10, being All Might, Endeavor, Ririko, and Mirko. Aizawa was still in it, as he's not been defeated. And the remainder of the LOV is Shigaraki, Kurogiri, and All for One, bringing the total to 7. As, again, we got to the remaining people that are heroes and all that, villains trying to fight Ramper as they're being defeated. As it makes it down to the top, 10 at this point. As he looks over, as he was about to attack Bakugo, who was just sitting there as all his classmates were taken out. As it looks like the timer, or the amount of people, have been defeated. You're lucky, as Bakugo's like, what? You're part of the last 10 fighters. As his eyes widen. As then, all of the contestants get picked up by electric bubbles and taken towards the Ark. As some people are confused, like Endeavor, All Might, and a lot of them, All for One just simply waits. As they're all taken as they're on the Ark. As, well, of course, Ramper and Elizabeth were put right in front of Enel. So you're the last 8 contestants. Honestly, I wasn't expecting you to defeat 3 of my priests. But you're all that stands left to defeat me. And only if you had managed to defeat all my priests within the time period. Well, not really a time period, but you could say it was, because of the amount of people. As Bakugo says, beware of that guy. The one with the sword. After all, he defeated a lot of my classmates and several other heroes. As they see Elizabeth in her crow costume, I'm guessing that's the other priest. We hadn't seen her. Actually, that's definitely her, because she used crows to attack me when I was fighting the other priest. What, Nightmare was his name? Yes. And I'm afraid that all the other priests that had been defeated have already been secured in a location already. As then, we see inside the Ark, as all 3 of the priests that were defeated are currently in a lower section of the Ark being held. Now it's time for us to do this little fight. As he steps down, of course, because 2 of my priests survived, they will continue, but they'll be on my side. So it technically is an 8v3. As, well, Kurogiri makes a portal behind, well, Enel, as All for One tries to get his hand out to grab Enel, as it goes straight through it, as he simply grabs his wrist and electrocutes All for One as he pulls back his hand, which has electric marks on it. You really thought you could do and take my power, All for One. Nice try. It won't be that simple. As All Might hates All for One, but he really has no other choice but to defeat Enel, as he's a bigger threat. As Kurogiri tries to make another portal for Shigaraki to put his hand through, before he manages to make the portal, Kurogiri gets one of the ridiculous endings within this entire story. He gets one shot by a lightning blast towards his metal thing, going straight through it, ending him, causing him to fall off the Ark. Y'all may wonder, why do this to Kurogiri and take him out immediately? Enel was getting rid of the most problematic person on the Ark that had a chance to catch him off guard first. So he simply was thinking ahead of everyone else. Now, let's the final 7v3 do away. Attack, as, well, Steel starts to go straight for the top 7 people left. Of course, Shigaraki, who does not have the momentum or the experience in this part, as he's still in his, well, beginning of the story, which could be defeated easily phase, gets filled with spikes as he falls to the ground defeated. As the number on the hero side, as all of them can see the numbers, so 3 on and 3 for being one is Enel, Ramper, and Elizabeth, and now 6 being Mirko, All for One, Bakugo, Endeavor, Aizawa. You know the gist of it. The 5 heroes, pretty much. And, of course, they get into a conflict. Aizawa was also defeated swiftly as he has no really that much mobility to fight them, so he was also defeated. Mirko tries to make a large attacks. Endeavor sends a huge primordial burn towards Enel as he makes a lightning shield protecting the ark from his fire. Nay now, I can't let you have burning the place after all. You burn this, the entire thing will crash down and explode Japan. As they're shocked, as they all back up, the ark is equipped with much highly tech stuff. As he touches the ark, if this thing falls, imagine the devastation it will cause. The explosive. As I've stored a lot of power into this, so you send it crashing towards the ground. As they imagine a huge, like atomic boom as it hits the ground, because it has that much power stored in it. As All Might says, don't damage the ark. If he says that thing has the power to do that. As he smiles, as Elizabeth, is technically fighting Mirko right now, using her crows and fighting from a distance. Although it doesn't have much of an effect, as she's fighting Mirko, she gets into close quarters combat. While Bakugo, I must say, Endeavor are fighting Ramper. As we go back to, Elizabeth, we'll do her fight first. As she's in close combat, and she doesn't have basically any close combat experience, so she's just doing the best of what she's seen of Ramper and the others fight, which is not but it's not bad. As she does get hit several times, as then she gets hit off the ark. As she tries to lean on, as all of her crows have been used up, she starts to fall, but gets grabbed by Mirko. As she looks up, at this time, she simply just grabs both of her arms around Mirko's arm and pulls her down, causing both of them to fall off the ark. Does this surprise Mirko? If I'm going down, I'm gonna have to take you down with me. As both of them fall to the ground. Mirko does get damaged and taken out since she's no longer in the vicinity of the battlefield. And she noticed that Elizabeth is in an electric bubble and is being taken up towards the ark. As she jumps off building to building to try and get on top of the electric sphere around Elizabeth as she's being taken up to the ark. As she jumps on, she gets electrified and sent flying back towards the ground, as she's now stunned. Now, as the dragon hero, who is still on board, joins in the fight with Ramper, as she doesn't think she can help with All Might and All For One, who are fighting with Enel. As Ramper looks over at the group of people, which mean Endeavor, Bakugo, and Rirko. Okay, listen here. Since this is an unfair fight, 3 against 1. As he whistles as a dog comes walking out of the ark, I'll have my pet help me here. As they're surprised by the gigantic dog, now let's just begin. As, of course, they start with this fight and all that. Endeavor thinks he can burn away the metal. Doesn't work. Metal can take up to a very high degree. I believe only his primordial burn could do something. But as the attacks go on, Ramper is just simply on the defense most of the time, but is also attacking using the steel around the area, dealing damage to them, as Rirko doesn't take much damage from this, but is fighting Ramper's pet most of the time. As Bakugo comes in and does a very big blow towards Ramper's back, and actually hits him, as he stumbles back, as he swings his sword at Bakugo, who manages to back off, as Endeavor does a primordial burn, not caring about the surroundings or if Bakugo gets hit. As Enel noticed this, and simply just throws both of them who were trying to punch Enel from both sides away, as he goes down and simply makes a big charge of lightning hit Endeavor. I don't like cheaters. as he gets shocked as his arms that were pointing the primordial burn get, well, turned to ashes as he falls to the ground in pain. And we're not down to the last four, I believe. As we go to Rirko, the dragon hero, as she then gets impaled with spikes from the back as, well, Ramper was prioritizing her. As she starts falling, as she at least grabs onto his dog as he falls off the arc, as he runs towards the edge, as he gets caught by Bakugo and gets exploded into the door of the arc. As he leans down, there, he's defeated. As, of course, the dog also has the mark of the electricity on his fur, so he does get carried back up to the arc. I'm not gonna leave a poor Ramper's dog to get just struck by lightning and evaporated like that, so he gets taken up to the arc as well. As it reaches the arc and goes in towards the side door and it opens. As Bakugo joins in with the fight with All Might and All for One, who has barely any effect on Enel. Really, now, I was hoping for more of a fight from you two. As then they make a huge blast as it goes through. As then All for One tries something as he coats himself with rubber and punches Enel in the face. As he gets sent flying backward a bit. I see, so your weakness is rubber. As he looks over, it seems you have a counter for it. So as long as I transform my arm into rubber, I can still take your quark. As Enel smiles, I won't let you land that twice. As he grabs a spear, as then Bakugo, who heard that, grabs something rubber he could find and attaches it to one of his explosions as it pops, hitting him in the back. As he turns his eyes and sees Bakugo, as he then remembers the face of the person who sent him off the ledge. It was you, as he turns his staff, hitting Bakugo square in the face, sending him flying back as All Might catches him. As he looked towards them. As then All for One touches him on the stomach, but is surprised when he can't steal his quark. You really thought you could steal my power. As he transforms into his Buddha form and simply smacks him down. Technically evaporating him with the amount of electricity he uses in the form. As All Might then sends a huge, wind wave towards, Enel, causing him to get sent back a little bit because it's wind pressure, which can move electricity a bit. So, now it's just All Might and Bakugo. Come on, young Bakugo. We can defeat him. After all, we now know his weakness. As Bakugo is up, yeah, you're right. As he says that, he just sees as All Might falls to the ground. And sees Ramper, who's still standing. What, how? You should have paid attention to the numbers, kid. As he looks up and sees that he was never defeated. So the number never went down. He just got hit towards a door. Also, I would have said he would have been in a cage of lightning if he was defeated. As Enel, who's very irritated, Enel Deku is very irritated. Looky here. The number one hero at my feet, and the Bakugo Katsuki, right? The killer who killed me. As Bakugo doesn't have any clue what he's talking about. What? You don't remember me? Oh yeah, that's right. I do have a new body now. I guess I do have to thank you for that. As he doesn't know what he's talking about. Fine, let me remind you. As he creates an electric clone of himself, showing what he used to look like. Deku? Yes, it's me, Deku. The useless kid without a quark. As All Might tries to get up and punch, Enel in the face. As he simply gets backhanded by his staff, sending him off the arc. Still bleeding, he's heavily injured. He just falls to the ground. Now, I even have a better reason to destroy this place. As he then just starts to, pull up his staff and he's about to hit him, Bakugo sends a huge explosion as it does nothing to Enel. As he then just starts to hit Bakugo over and over again with the staff, causing him to bleed. This is what it felt like when you kept beating me, using your quark on me. The burn marks, the flames. But let's see what happens when you don't have that quark anymore. As Bakugo realizes what he's talking about, as he simply nods to Ramper, as he quickly moves his sword, severing, Bakugo's hands. As he looks at his hands, he's terrified. No! As then he's hit down to the main layer of the arc. The deck of the arc. They were on the top of the arc. As he smiles, as Ramper's next to him. You've done well, Ramper. As he simply just kneels down. I don't deserve your praise, Enel. After all, you're the strongest person, I would say, in this era. Worth following. As Enel smiles, very well. Will you do the deed, then? As he walks over to Bakugo. As he looks up. As then he just unsheathes his sword and simply slashes Bakugo in the chest several times, causing him to lose consciousness as he falls onto the floor. What shall I do with him now? As Enel picks up Bakugo and takes him through to the edge. I'll let him go out the same way I did. As he drops Bakugo, and he falls to the ground towards his death. There. No more interruptions. This game's over. The heroes were a waste of time. So what shall we do about... Well... As he looks down at the civilians as the number had reached 0. I'm a man of my word. As the arc flies out of range of Japan, and they think he just spared them just to have the fun of it. As then that lightning symbol comes into play, as a bunch of lightning bolts, hit Japan, vaporizing the island, the entirety of Japan, killing everyone. Nezu, heroes, doesn't matter, they're all gone. As Enel sits down on his, Enel Deku sits down on a couch. You did well, Ramper. As he simply just put his arm on his chest. Of course I did. I didn't plan on losing. I'm impressed by all of my priests and their capabilities. You're more useful to me alive than with your dead. Is that the reason you didn't kill us after we lost? As he just laughs. You really think I would kill you? You're too useful to me. It would be a shame to kill you. After all, losing only makes the person stronger. Isn't that right? As he turns around and sees the priest that had, lost. As they say, yes, sir. So where are we off to next? I don't know. Maybe we should let you decide. Us, sir? Yes, where to next? Japan is over with. We could go anywhere else. America, y'all make your choice. As, Fisher actually speaks. America, sir. I would like to see how well you would fare up against Stars and Stripes. Stars and Stripes, you say? Let's do it. Setting course to America. As the arc flies towards America. Hopefully you all enjoyed the finale of What If Deku Was Enel. I had a blast making this series. Thank you, Ramper, for recommending this, and I hope you like your little contribution to the story with your own character. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe. This was a fun series. I plan to do more recommendation videos, but just to let you all know, I still plan to do some of my stories. Anyway, hopefully you all enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe.